everybody, and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. You're very welcome to our preview show, and we're looking ahead to the start of the Ulster Championship. It kicks off on Saturday night in the Athletic Grounds as Armagh host Antrim in the first round of the Ulster Championship with a throw-in time of 5 p.m. A bit of a different show lined up today. We spoke to both Ciaran McKeever and Antrim manager Andy McEntee at the recent Ulster Championship media launch. It was the day after Armagh were relegated from Division 1 to Division 2 after a 2-point loss to Tyrone. So when Ciaran McKeever refers to yesterday, he's obviously talking about the Armagh and Tyrone game. And we also speak to Andy McEntee. His side came, they were safe in Division 3, they were safe from relegation and played out a couple of interesting games in the league. And we speak to him about coming to the Athletic Grounds to take on Armagh, what relevance the McKenna Cup game earlier in the year has, and how the injuries are looking in the Antrim camp. So we're going to hear from them both now. And on Thursday's show, we're going to hear from former Antrim goalkeeper Chris Kerr, now playing in Ballymacnabb, and he's going to give us all the ins and outs on what to expect on Saturday evening. The Camogues are also out on Saturday. They're taking part in the Division 3 National League final. They take on Carlow in Darver at 3 p.m. So all the best to them and all the best to Armagh against Antrim as well on Saturday evening. So we're now going to hear from Ciaran McKeever, followed by Andy McEntee.
I think yes, there's one of any Burns coming in the championship. It'll take his own course next January, and we just have 10 days to prep for Antrim, and that's what we're looking forward to. Yeah, it's frustration. Left ourselves in a situation that we probably shouldn't have been in, but that's football. When you're the top tier, it's fine margins, and unfortunately we found ourselves on the wrong side of it yesterday. But that's a lot of other stuff happening in life that's worse. It's obviously going to affect mood, the same as every defeat does within this environment, But so look, we'll regroup tomorrow night, and we'll get back on the wagon. We've been here before. So it's something that we, as a sports person, you'll always face, and it's the next 48 hours is important as a group, and we'll circle the wagons and we'll get back at it hard. You'd like to think we're going to have a big reaction come championship, but we just take things on merit, and we just have to get the training tomorrow night and regroup and start dialing into Antrim. Good opportunity for us, once you get a defeat, the best form of getting that out of your system is a game, brave and quick, and we're fortunate enough that we have that now at Antrim in the Premier and the Championship, and we'll be looking forward to it. We're under no illusion as a group. We're very close. You go back to the Roscommon game, we were in control of that game at half time. And we didn't execute 6 goal opportunities in that game. We missed 1-2 straight after half time that probably would have stretched the lead to 6-7 points. And that becomes a different game. And we didn't do that, and they got out behind us, got a penalty, and they just kept that distance. Go back to the Kerry-Galway game, we're both beat in both of them matches in injury time. And that's football, you get a point there or a win, you could be potentially looking at a league final next weekend, but we're not there, and obviously we've come out in the wrong side of them results, so we'll have to dial into that and why that has happened and get to work on it this week.
On Antrim, Ciaran, having played them in the McKenna Cup, obviously you changed your entire team at half time and stuff. Do you take anything from that game, or anything? Did you size Antrim up that night or anything? Or maybe so long ago too?
No, the McKenna Cup was just about, I think for every team, it was just about getting minutes in the players, and we wouldn't have dialed into much about it leading into the championship. Obviously we've all our videos uploaded today to start looking at them. I went to watch them in Newry there a couple of months ago there against Down, and I was very impressed with them that night. I actually left when they were 5 points up to beat the traffic, and got home and I got into the house, so I noticed they were beat by a point. But Andy's done a really good job there. He's come in, he's has them well organised, there's plenty of good players on the pitch, and there's a real threat with the pace they have as well. And so we just have to take them on the merit and prepare properly. There's always this hype every year, but also Championship and Armagh having done this and haven't done that, but there's numerous other teams haven't done it either. You look over the last decade, it's probably been Tyrone, Donegal and Monaghan, and the decade before that it was Armagh and Tyrone. And then you can throw a couple of sprinkles in there where Cavan come up with one, so look, you have to take every game on its merit, and you're going into a really competitive championship. Probably it and Connacht at the present minute are the only 2 championships, and the way the whole season is crammed in now. It looks like it's going to be the beginning of the end of the Ulster Championship, the way it's all going. Like so, and we'll be going out to try and compete and win every match. And then the other side of that, there, look, we're under no illusion. Like our main priority is Super 16s, and that's when the real football starts. They've set up the Super 16s to try and mirror the leagues, like. So and that's when the real football starts. And back where I was playing, like I've 5 Ulster medals. I'm really proud of them. Munster, you had Kerry and Cork. That was really the 2 teams. And Leinster, like what's Dublin going for 13 in a row or something. And they win probably the majority of the matches by 10 points plus. But we're all competitors up in Ulster. We're going out. Nobody wants to lose. And I think yes, in one sense, it's good because it keeps the Ulster football healthy, keeps it competitive. But at the same time, I think it damages whoever comes out of it. Their potential to go and really grasp, potentially win All Ireland, because you're only after slogging for 6 weeks and you're coming in against teams that potentially are fresher. Obviously, we're playing Antrim, we're going out to win, and if you get out of that, you're going to play someone else, you're going to win. But I just feel like everybody knows that it's the beginning of the end of the Ulster Championship, and that's the route that GA want to go down, and so that's. I think everybody's under no illusion. Like this could potentially be the last Ulster Championship, and if you're in a position to win it, which we are, we're in the preliminary round in 2 weeks' time. And it'd be nice to get there if it's going to be the last one. So we really feel as a group we're still in a really good position. We're under no illusion. We have stuff to fix and tidy up, but we still feel as a group that we're not a million miles away.
Just on Antrim, Keane's played them 2 years ago in the championship. It was a really tight game. It's probably not going to be a walkover that maybe some Armagh fans think that it's going to be.
No, I don't think any game in Ulster's ever a walkover. As I said earlier, Antrim have good ball players all over the pitch, always had. Andy has them well organised. They're going to pose a different threat to us than Tyrone and Kerry and Galway did, because they just have a different type of player. They're more sevens type football where they keep the ball, they like breaking lines at pace. So we're under no illusion they'll pose a different threat to us than we faced to date, and we just have to be diligent in our preparation and prepare for it.
Yeah, so I'm joined by Andy McEntee. Andy, a couple of weeks away from the start of the Ulster Championship, 2-week break from the league. I'm sure you're looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, look at Ulster Championship, whether you're involved or just an onlooker, it's a great championship. It's the only, I suppose a lot of people would say it's the only real provincial championship that's still up and running. So it's good to be part of it.
And I don't think you've never experienced an Ulster Championship game. I know you come up against Ulster opposition, obviously with Meath, but actually been in the cut and thrust of an Ulster Championship game.
No, I've been up to watch. I've been up as in neutral as neutral as you can be. But I've been up to been a couple of finals up in Clonus, and great atmosphere, great level of expectation. I've played up in the athletics ground against Armagh in a couple of league matches, and against Down as well in years gone by. So I'm expecting a really good atmosphere at the game.
And the athletic ground, you mentioned atmosphere. It's probably the best spot in Ulster for an atmosphere. Yeah,
I think it's. I think a lot of counties could look at the structure of the ground around and say it's ideal. It's about the right size. It's not. It doesn't take too much to fill it, and Armagh with the support that they have tend to fill it. So it creates its own special sort of an atmosphere. Yeah.
And talking about the Armagh support, the night you were up for the McKenna Cup game, I think there was 4,500 to 5,000 there for Armagh supporters, so they're going to have a big support for the championship as well.
You got to fancy there'll be more again this year, and they weren't very sympathetic to our cause that night, so they'll hardly be any better this time around.
And did you take anything from that? That was obviously the first outing. Both teams made changes, probably by a lot of changes before the championship to the two teams. Did you take anything from that evening?
Well, I suppose the only thing you take from it is if you don't show up, you're going to get your arse handed to you. That's the truth of the matter, So even with all the changes Armagh made at half time, they were still quite strong in the second half. So it's obviously a huge test for us and a huge challenge for us.
And Armagh being relegated, Andy, the feeling in Armagh is quite low going down, but maybe what way would you view going down from Division 1?
I think on the way up it's important to get up to Division 1, but I think where Armagh are at the moment, whether the Division 1 or Division 2, it's not their priority. They're looking at Championship. I don't think it make a whole pile of difference to them, really.
And your own league campaign staying up in Division 3, beating Calvin obviously was such a huge win for you. And you were unlucky, I remember the night against Down, so unlucky for Mana pulled one out of the bag as well. So
yeah. I mean, but I mean that's the nature of that game. I mean, look what happened with Armagh yesterday. I mean, you know, you're within a game or a game and a half of qualifying for a final or being relegated. So that's the way when you have only 7 games in a league. Every game carries huge importance. So look, I mean, we could just as easily have been if we'd have kept our focus and kept our concentration for a bit longer. We could have easily have been playing for promotion as opposed to trying to avoid relegation.
And Andy, as we're speaking now, we're at the Ulster Championship launch. It's 2 weeks to the Championship. 2 weeks probably a nice enough break, is it, that you can forget about the league and turn attention straight towards the Championship now?
Yeah, I think I'd say most managers would probably like a little bit more. I mean, there's a lot of games squashed into a very short period, and you know, even talking to a good few of the managers around here, it leads to injuries, and a lot of squads have injuries, and fortunately, I think we're coming out the far end of it. But I mean, you know, in the lead up to that Cavan game, we had only 22 fit players really out of a panel of 37. We had only 22 fit players, so that can be an issue. So an extra couple of weeks wouldn't do any harm to get the bodies ready.
And how are you on the injury front? I know you're not going to tell me the team or nothing for the game, but how are you on the injury front?
I mean, I think most of the fellas are on the way back. They're either back or very close to being back. So I mean, I'd like to think we'd have a strong enough hand. But then again, you know, you guys have been out. If they've been out any significant time, they're lacking match practice. So it's kind of hard to know really exactly where fellas are at, but you'd find out fairly quickly as soon as the ball is thrown in. Yeah.
Andy, good stuff. Thanks for coming on.
All right, cheers then.